Hello and welcome to Not Just Disney and to the latest in our series of videos in which we have been completing as yet unfinished footballing competitions from the 2019 to 2020 season using LOGacta, the classic 1970s football simulation game played using dice. We've already looked at the FA Premier League, the FA Cup and the FA Trophy. And in our last video we looked at the English Football League, completing the League 2 playoffs. So today we move up a tier to complete the League 1 playoffs. So very quickly, how do you qualify for this part of the competition? Well, your teams will have missed out on automatic promotion and will have finished in 3rd, 4th, 5th or 6th in League 1. And remember, for this season, this is on the basis of points per game, because when this season was suspended, all teams had not played the same number of matches. Today we'll be looking at the semi-finals. Now these are two-legged affairs played home and away. If the scores are level after the second tie, we have 30 minutes of extra time, and if the teams cannot be separated, then we get a penalty shootout. The final, a little bit more straightforward. One match played at a neutral venue. Extra time and penalties are available to separate the teams. The final League 1 table shows that Coventry City and Rotherham United gained the automatic promotion spots into the Championship, and today Wycombe Wanderers, Oxford United, Portsmouth and Fleetwood Town will be competing for the chance to join them. The fixtures are seeded for the playoffs, so the two higher placed teams will play away from home and they're separated for the first leg. So Wycombe, who finished 3rd, will play Fleetwood Town, who finished 6th, and Oxford United, who are 4th, will play Portsmouth, who are 5th. LOGacta is a game based on rolling die, and we need to select which of the 7 specially numbered die will be rolling for each team to give us a score for each match. Now for the first part of the playoffs, the semi-finals, we should probably look at the cup section of the dice selector chart, and this is the one that's available for where teams have a home advantage. And we can see that where teams play in the same tier, for example here the 3rd tier of English football, the home team would roll a blue die, the away team would roll a red die. Now this is probably fine, but for the League 2 playoffs there's a big difference in points between the teams taking part in those matches, and we thought perhaps that didn't reflect the true difference in performance over the whole of the season to simply roll this blue and red die, which is the minimum gap between teams. So for League 2 we looked at the points difference and applied that to the league dice selector, which give you a bigger range of die. So if we take a look at the League 2 playoff teams, now these points per game totals are based on 3 points for a win and 1 for a draw. So the difference at the moment is just 0.92 points, and that's incredibly close after a season of matches, or almost a complete season of matches. But we need to convert those points per game into ones which reflect the point scoring system that was around when LOGacta was introduced in the mid-1970s, where it was just 2 for a win rather than today's 3 for a win. So if we do that, we see that Wycombe Wanderers move on to 54.35, Oxford United and Portsmouth move on to 54.06, but Fleetwood Town move on to 55.31 because they have obtained more points from drawn matches in comparison to the teams above them. So the losing up of the 3 points for a win and replacing it with 2 points for a win doesn't have the same negative effect as it does for the other teams. But again, when we look at the difference in points totals now, we see it is just 1.25. If we take that figure and put it into the league section of the LOGacta chart, we can see that 1.25 is almost slap bang in the middle of the first band, which is blue for a home team and red for away teams, and that would apply there for the reverse fixture for each tie. So we will be using red and blue die for the semi-finals, but what about the final? Well, again, the LOGacta Cup chart would have teams playing in the same tier of football using the same colour die, in this case 2 blue die. But for the League 2 playoffs we use the league die division again to try to give us a better representation of the difference between the two teams. And if we look at the how we managed to put that league die system into a cup final context, what we did was this: we rolled a blue die for team A and a red die for team B, and we'll be rolling a blue die for team B and a red die for team A. Now that could give us a score that is way too high for a typical cup final match, so what we'll be doing is we will be adding together the two scores for each team. So that's the blue die and the red die. We'll be dividing that by 2. If that gives us a whole number, that's fine. If not, if we get a score, say half, 1.5, 2.5, we will roll that down to the nearest whole number. So for example, if team A score a total of 3 goals, we divide that by 2, that will give us 1.5, and we will roll that down to 1. So we'll give that for both teams. That will give us the score after 90 minutes. If we then need extra time, we will be rolling the extra time die, and if we need penalties after that, we will be rolling our special penalty die, and I'll explain how that works should we need it. So I think that's just about explained how we'll be selecting the die for the League 1 playoffs, and I think it's just about time now to get the matches underway. And due to the temperature at the moment, these matches will be played in front of fans. Our first semi-final, first leg, Portsmouth at home to Oxford, and that is 1 for Portsmouth. Oxford now rolling red, and that is also a 1. So everything even going into the second leg there. Our second semi-final, Fleetwood at home to Wycombe Wanderers. Nothing for Fleetwood Town. Wycombe Wanderers rolling red. And that is 3. Just move that across. So a good 3-0 victory away for home for Wycombe Wanderers. So we're back to our first semi-final, Oxford and Portsmouth. If you remember, it's all square 1-1 after the first leg. Oxford will be rolling blue. And it's another 1. So Portsmouth do have a chance of taking this without extra time. Rolling the red die. And they do. 3-1 away victory for Portsmouth puts them through to the playoff finals, 4-2 on aggregate. Okay, to our second semi-final, second leg. Wycombe Wanderers have a 3-0 advantage over Fleetwood Town. Wycombe rolling the blue in their home leg. And that's another 3. Things looking very bad for Fleetwood Town. And that's just fallen off the board. I'll just move it across to show you. It's just one consolation goal for Fleetwood. So Wycombe Wanderers run out 6-1 winners on aggregate. So the final, it's Portsmouth against Wycombe Wanderers, played alphabetically, and as we did play roll the die for the League 2 playoff. So Portsmouth will be rolling blue die. Oops, and I've dropped the blue die on the floor just to show that we only do this in one take. We have no re-rolls, no editing. These are the genuine first rolls. Portsmouth blue, and that's 1 goal. Wycombe Wanderers will get red. Don't forget that we will be rolling a second die for both teams. And that's 1 for Wycombe Wanderers. So the reverse die now. Portsmouth will be rolling the red. And that is 2. Now that gives them a total of 3, which under our system divided by 2 becomes 1.5, and we roll that down to the nearest whole number, which is 1. And now Wycombe have the blue die, and that's 2. That's 3 again in total. Roll down is 1. So as with the League 2 playoffs, we're going through to extra time. Just a single roll of the die. It's the yellow die. Portsmouth to go first, and that's 0. So Wycombe just need to score to be playing in the Championship next season, and they have. Wycombe have taken the League 1 playoff final 2-1 on aggregate, beating Portsmouth. So congratulations to Wycombe. Let's just recap ourselves of the results that we've seen in today's. Portsmouth ran out 4-2 winners on aggregate thanks to an impressive 3-1 away victory at Oxford in the second leg. Wycombe's place at the final never looked in doubt after a 3-0 away win at Fleetwood Town. Wycombe scoring for further 3 goals at home, and Fleetwood just getting that 1 consolation goal. In the final, 90 minutes was not enough to separate the 2 clubs, so 30 minutes of extra time, and Wycombe managed to score, taking the League 1 playoff final 2-1 after extra time. So hope you enjoyed that video. Congratulations once again to Wycombe Wanderers. Remember, they snuck into the playoffs there on the points per game basis, having played 1 game less than the teams around them. Be interesting to see how these results are reflected in the real world when these ties are played in early July. So all that remains for me to say then is thank you for watching, and we look forward to you seeing us again soon here on Not Just Disney. Bye for now.